Hello and welcome back to the top 85 games for the BBC Micro Video Countdown. In at number 62, it's a very silly game. It's called Save Your Bacon. Now, this was actually released as a game on a cover disc for the Disc User magazine in 1988. This was from issue 5, the February-March edition. Now, we actually saw Disc User magazine in a previous game, actually quite early on in the Countdown series with Martian Nim. But this game, Save Your Bacon, was developed by a chap called Lawson B. Wakefield, and it basically involves controlling a pig who, for some reason, is collecting pork chops. I don't know why, and he is being chased by a dog who is trying to stop him. And in true sort of idiosyncratic British gaming style, I suppose, your defense against the dog is a cat, which you can throw at the dog, which momentarily causes a fight and means that you can go about your business of collecting pork chops in peace. So it is a very silly game, but I absolutely love it, and that's why I've waited until now to bring it in. So let's have a look at Save Your Bacon. All right, here we are. So it's got a pretty good splash screen actually. I think. I mean, there's a lot of work's gone into putting that together. There's our prime porker, as we shall see. So simple instructions down at the bottom, and let's face it, there aren't many games where one of the instructions is press return to throw cat, but there it is. This is Save Your Bacon. All right, so here we are. This is our grid, and basically the pork chop will move around at sort of random degrees of speed and direction. Oh dear, I got nabbed by the dog already. So yes, the dog will both obviously try to eat the pork chops, but also will attack you, and will get in your way, generally speaking. Um, oh, yeah. So it's not actually as simple as it looks. You actually have to hit the pork chop square on, otherwise it will slide past you. Okay, so I think we're going to have to. Oh, there we go. That keeps the dog busy. Lets me collect my pork chops in peace. Oh, there we are. So yes, I imagine some of you watching this, if not all of you, will probably be thinking, really, he's brought this game in at number 62 after all the other ones that we've seen. But I don't know. I just think it's a really fun game. I mean, it's daft, and probably part of my sort of fondness for it is how very silly it is. I mean, why is a pig collecting pork chops? There you go, it's cleared level one. Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense as to why he would be collecting what are basically slabs of his own body. And I mean, I get why the dog's chasing the pork chops, but I mean, it just why has the pig somehow got oh dear, I got nabbed there. Why has the pig got cats that he can launch? I think the cat's actually called Kamikaze Kevin, which is, just just adds to the complete bonkersness of this game. Um, yeah, it's just really silly. Uh, and I guess I've got a soft spot for games that are very silly. I mean, I suppose as much as anything else, it is very it's very creative. I mean, I don't know what Lawson B. Wakefield was thinking when he. Oh no, oh, that's the end of me. Yeah. A new prime porker. That's an indication. If you want to play again, you will be the new prime porker. So let's keep going. I like how the house in the top left is the dog house, and the house in the bottom right there is the sty. So that's obviously where our respective homes are for the dog and the pig. Now, as the instructions alluded to at the beginning, the further you progress in this game, actually the number of dogs will increase as well. So we've only got one chasing us around, but yeah, as things move on, depending on how far we get, you may start to see more than one dog, which obviously makes the game that much harder. Um, so yes, I mean obviously gameplay wise, it's very straightforward. I won't say it's simple because actually it isn't as easy as it might look on the video. I definitely recommend you dig this one out and have a go, because it's yeah it's decept. Oh no, It's deceptive. It's definitely deceptive. Like it looks like it should be a lot easier than it actually is. And that's not just me making excuses for my lamentable gameplay. Oh, there we go. I say that feature is brilliant. I think like they could have had obviously the game mechanic is something to distract the dog. I mean, they could have come up with all sorts, you throw him a bone or something. But I love the idea that you could just lob a cat at the dog, and that triggers a dog and cat fight. It's brilliant. Um, Also, what's with these pork chops? Why are they moving around by themselves? I mean, that's another thing that the game never really gets into explaining. I mean, why are these why are these pork chops like what moving around on their own? Um, Still less why is it my job to collect them? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, these are questions that Save Your Bacon will never answer. The game merely expects you to play along and just accept oh dear, the slightly crazy world that we've entered into. Um, Also, if these are meant to be real houses, I mean that dog house must be enormous because it's the same same. Oh no! Oh, I threw the cat, but then managed to walk into the dog before it arrived. Oh dear. Now I have to say, the game. I mean, you might not think it, but it does require a certain amount of concentration. I haven't actually checked to see if the dog eats the pork chop. I'm not sure. Not sure if that. No, it doesn't seem to count against your. Ah, I think it might maybe it detracts from your score if he does that. Ooh, there we are. So yes, I mean, I don't know what the sort of closest game comparison would be for this one. It's not. Ooh, I mean, I guess you could say it's possibly got a hint of Pac-Man to it. I mean, it's a grid after all, and we're chasing edible edible components. With the well, the power pill has been replaced with a cat that you can just throw. The dog gets a lot faster, I think, in these later levels. Oh dear. Well, that was got as far as level 3 that time. I do like the idea of a new Prime Porker, though. I think we'll give it another shot. Yeah. So yes, as I said before, I make no apologies really for bringing this in at number 62 because I think it's just such a great game. It's daft, it makes no sense. Is it is it the most accomplished from a graphics or sound point of view? Definitely not. But yeah, there's just something about it that's really very appealing, and I'd say if you've not played it before, reserve judgment before you think, well, this doesn't really seem to justify such a high ranking compared to games like, Ballistics, which let's face it, had a lot more skill and coding power behind them. I mean, this game's not going to win any awards for amazing physics or, you know, I mean, yeah, I think the graphics are quite sweet for what they are. Actually, they're not too shabby. Um, but yeah, I mean, they're not. They're probably not up there with some of the other games that we've seen. But yeah, I mean, as I've probably said many times before on this channel, um, a lot of the appeal or the continuing appeal of retro games is their gameplay. I mean, after all, we don't play these sorts of games now in order to be wowed by graphics. If you want that, you'd obviously play a more modern game on a more modern console. But retro games, their sort of continued appeal, if you like, is based on the gameplay, and I think the gameplay of this is really good. And also the sort of slightly bizarre concept of it, it just all kind of comes together and produces this wacky game that yeah, I don't mind saying I've played or spent many hours playing it. Not just as a child either. Yeah, it's silly. It's funny, and yeah, it's just an all round a good game really. Um, yeah, I really do recommend it, and I've had to sort of be sensible not to bring it in even higher than this. I think when I first drew up my list of 85, I think I might have even had Save Your Bacon up even higher than 62. But I think on sober reflection, I decided, well, that was probably being a little bit too generous and possibly somewhat unfair to some of the other games that we'll be seeing in the series. But yeah, it really is good fun. It's quite a mindless game, so it doesn't require too much effort in the sense of having to remember lots of rules and lots of key combinations. But yeah, I didn't quite launch the cat correctly there. But yes, I mean, I think we'll probably draw it to a close there. I think we've seen all there is to see of Save Your Bacon. It's a shame we didn't quite make it to a later level with some of the extra dogs chasing us around the grid. But yeah. There it is, Save Your Bacon in at number 62. I really can't recommend it enough if you've never played it before. And please do leave me a comment actually if you have, because I'd love to hear from other people that have played it to see whether or not they agree with me about what they think of this game. And yes, hope you've enjoyed it. And if that was your first introduction to Save Your Bacon, I do hope that you've had a good laugh. And I hope you'll join me next time for the next video in the series. Until then, goodbye.